Hi, this is Natasha Lara Lewis with Esther's Place, and I'll be walking you through our August Critter of the Month kit. This is this adorable sloth. He's even got a little branch to hang on, and he's all ready to greet the slothiest month with an adorable smile. So come join me as we go ahead and open up our kit and start needle felting. So inside you're going to notice all different kinds of fibers. You'll also want to have your foam block with your felting needles. Now the needles are special. They have tiny little notches on the bottom that tangle the fibers together and turn into felt. So watch your fingers, be careful, pay attention to what you're doing. And we have an extra needle, our helper needle, to kind of help hold things in place. So we're going to walk you through making him. He's got a body that includes the head, and then pipe cleaner arms and legs, and some cute little details. So let's look at our parts and we'll begin. We've got one long piece here for his body and head. We've got a blended piece that's about the size of your hand for covering the body and also for the arms and the legs. We've got this little bundle that's got a kind of variegated black, a tan, a little bit of a taupe, and a tiny piece of black. Then of course we've got our branch, and we'll just set that aside for the end. You're not going to need that till you get all done with him. And then we've got some pipe cleaners for the top arms and for the bottom legs. We're going to bend these around, and we're going to be making them into both sets of the legs and the arms. All right, so let's go ahead and take that piece of the larger piece of this dark tan here, and we are going to roll that around your finger. So we're going to take and just wrap that nice and tight around your finger. You want to take and wrap it as tight as you can, keeping it flat and smooth as you go. And when you've got that all wrapped up, give it one more tighten so it's nice and tight around your finger there. And then we're going to take and slide that off. Go ahead and tuck the fibers in at one end. This is going to be the bottom. And then you're just going to kind of pinch and pull this top a little bit. I'm tucking some of those fibers in at the top, but I'm pulling it out so it's a little bit more squishy here and not so squishy here. That way we'll have a head and a body. Now go ahead and put one of your felting needles down into the foam. You can see that I'm not pushing it all the way through. We don't want to lose it. And we're going to just start poking the body. So let's go ahead and we're going to start at the bottom here and just give it some pokes and keep your other hand out of the way. And then we're going to go ahead and turn it around to the top and give it a few pokes at the top here. And start poking around. So we're going to kind of put an imaginary little neckline in here. So where we pulled it out, it's a little bit thinner up here. We're going to kind of needle felt a little neck so we can remember what's the head and what's the body. And then just go ahead, keep on poking. What we're looking to do is to poke this till it feels nice and solid. So you're going to poke and turn and poke and turn. And when we've poked all the way around our shape, then we're going to rotate it. So we want to take out our helper needle. Always put your needles over here to the side, and then just turn it to a new side. And we're going to continue doing this for a couple of minutes. I'm going to put that neck in here until this little shape gets nice and solid. We want it to be pretty solid because that way it'll hold its shape well and hold up well, and we can start adding on the other pieces here. So if you want, you can go ahead and pause, and we can come back after you've poked this for a few minutes and gotten it nice and solid, and then we will continue. Okay, so now that it's nice and solid and we've got a defined neck and head and body, we're going to move on to the arms and the legs. So go ahead, we're going to take those pipe cleaners. Actually, we want them straight for now. And you can see that as we wrap these around the body, we're only going to be covering this part here for the legs, and this back part attaches to the body. So essentially, we're just going to cover the end and the beginning third of the pipe cleaner. So about that much, and then you can leave this open, we don't have to cover it, and then about that much. And we'll do the same thing on both pipe cleaners, so you can kind of see how much pipe cleaner there's going to be. We're just going to wrap this part for the arms and the legs. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll start on the legs. We're going to take a little sliver off of our bundle here. Just a thin little sliver, it's about the thickness of your finger. We're going to take and we're going to fold that over the end of the pipe cleaner. Now it's got a little bit hanging over the end. Wrap it a couple of times. And we're going to take and poke that in just to make it hold. So I've got that helper needle holding it down. Just give it a few pokes. What that does is it helps to give us something strong so that we can wrap this up very, very tightly. Kind of fold over the end a little bit. And we're just going to wrap this whole piece of wool right down the line. There we go. So we've gone about a third of the way down the line. We'll do the same thing on the other side. We're going to give this just a couple short little pokes. Watch your fingers here. And you'll also notice as you're poking into the pipe cleaner, you're going to kind of hit the pipe cleaner every once in a while, but that's okay. Just don't go too deep. If you poke too deep, you're going to get a fuzzy arm. Alright, so we're going to do that on both sides of the pipe cleaner. We're actually going to do that on all four legs and arms, both pieces of pipe cleaner. Alright. I'm just going to whip these up real quick. You can continue poking. If you want to put it on pause, you can come back when you've got it all wrapped and poked and ready to go. There's my one leg. And then we're going to do the arms just exactly the same way. All right. I know people have been requesting a sloth for a long time, so I'm happy to finally have a sloth kit. I think it's pretty cute. I'm pretty happy with it. All right. So once we get these arms and legs made and poked, then we can begin attaching them to the body. So that'll be the next step, to attach them onto the body. Let me give them a few little pokes here. And pipe cleaners are the perfect armature, the perfect thing to form your arms around, or legs or body structure, because they're fuzzy themselves. The fibers stick to them very easily, and it's easy to bend, and almost everybody has pipe cleaners around, so they're a simple tool to find. So I use them a lot with making arms and legs and other things like that. Alright, I think these are about ready to go onto the body. So the tighter that you wrap things, the less poking you need to do. That's just something always to remember. Alright, so now that we've got our legs, we're going to just center this and bend them around. And the legs and arms are pretty long, so that we have enough to fold around our little branch over here. So there's that. We're going to turn it over to the back here. And notice I've got his legs hanging off the foam, so it makes poking a little bit easier. And we're just going to start covering with some of this outside color. This is a blend, so it's got some grays and other colors in there. Kind of helps them be a little bit more wild looking. So I've just added a tuft of that fiber on top to cover the pipe cleaner. And you want to make sure that you've added enough to cover the pipe cleaner. And we're going to poke that in. And you can keep adding small bits over the top. We can use as much of this little bundle as we like. Its only purpose is for adding these guys. And it also helps to kind of build up the arms and the legs. So I'm putting more like where this thigh would be, joining it to the body there. So and this I like to leave it a little bit more wild and fuzzy and fluffy. I think it looks kind of nice. It looks a little bit more wild. So we're just going to continue our way around here, adding these little pieces of fiber, helping to reinforce it. And basically we're doing the same thing with our arms as we're doing with the legs. So once you've got the legs down, moving on to the arms will be very easy. So we just add little tiny bits. Okay. Now I'm going to take and add the arms. I want to make sure I don't lose track of the head. The head's in there, you can kind of see it. Okay, so we're going to add the arms right back here. Fold them around the back of the neck. And there we have, and you can tighten this up a lot. You can really pinch it and fold it tight around the neck back there. Okay. I'm pulling the head a little bit. I felt like he needs a taller head. There we go. Okay, so we're going to take and we're going to add a little bit more fiber over top of here. And you might not need all the fiber here too. You don't have to use all of it. It's just there if you need it. All right, so we're just adding and sculpting and using these tiny little pieces of fiber to kind of act like muscle. And the more we add and the more we poke, the more we can shape it. See how I've kind of curved it down here? That's by just taking the same spot and poking in it over and over and over again. Be sure to continue working that neck and keeping the nice neck there. So I'll just keep on going around. You can even fold it up a little bit to create more of a building block for the muscle, so you get more muscle tone there. All right, so we're just adding these little pieces of wool, shaping and sculpting, making sure all of our pipe cleaner is covered. A little bit more there. And we're also going to cover all the way up to, all the way up to the top of the face here, like a little hoodie, all the way up to the top there. We don't have to do his face or his belly. We just want to do like up to the top of the face. All right, so I'm actually going to put it around like that, like a little hood. Okay. Looking cute already. And make sure we get that neck back in there after we've, poked that in. Just add a little bit, put a little bit of poking in there so you get that neck kind of definition. All right, so now we're working on the shape of it. We can start adding some more colors to him as we go. All right, so on the face, we're going to be adding just a couple different things. So first off, we have a little bump on the face. Do you see how there's like a little nose? We're going to take some of our mixed color here about that much or so. And we're going to roll a little ball. So you're going to roll and then tuck, and then roll and then tuck nice and tight. Roll and tuck, roll and tuck, roll and tuck into a nice tight little ball. And that's going to be for like his face, his nose. And then poke that in to the front of the face there. Then we're going to take that other needle. Make sure you push this one all the way through down to the foam. There we go. And then go around the outside edge to anchor that down to the face. And this will create a nice little face structure for us. So we're going around the edge, making sure that that felt's in there, nice and strong. And then we're going to be covering that over. Okay, so there's that little bump on his face. Now we're going to cover that over with some of our light tan. So you can see we have these different fibers in our bundle. Go ahead and separate them out. And we're going to kind of roll this into a little circle. Mush the fibers in the middle so we don't see a little hole in the middle. We don't want a donut. And that's going to go on top for the face. So go ahead and add one needle to the middle, and we're going to be felting that in that general face area. Prop them up. There we go. All right, so we're going to go around the edge first. And then it kind of comes into the chest here a little bit. And I know at this point you really can't see that nose anymore, but it's going to show up, don't worry. Okay. So here we go, we have a start of our little face. We're going to do some more poking, and here's a good trick when you're adding these colors around this outside layer. Be sure to do short pokes. One of the things you can do is hold your needle here where it gets a little smaller. You can feel that. And that's going to help you to not go very deep. It actually leaves you with a nice, shallow, smooth surface. So just little tiny pokes. And we're just going to kind of poke all around that little bump that we added and everything like that. All around the edge. We want this to just be nice and smooth and blend into the face and all the body and everything like that. Okay. So now as we start to kind of see, I can see his little nose here some more. I'm going to poke in 2 eye sockets, one on one side of the nose, and you're just going to poke in that same area over and over and over again till you start to make a little bit of an indentation. A little valley for the eye to go. One eye on that side, and then come over to the other side here and poke on the other side. So there we've got 2 little eye sockets started. Okay. Let's see. So now we've got our eyes ready to go, and we've got our nose, and we've got a smile. So the eye actually, put this real close here, is a little bit of taupe and then a little circle of black inside. So let's go ahead and pull some of those fibers out. Whoop. Hey, little guy. He's just so tired he wants to roll over and take a nap. Okay, so we're going to take this taupe color and we're going to divide it into 2. Just peel it in half. And that 1/2 is going to be for the nose, so set that aside. And then this half divide again. Now we're going to take each one and you're going to just roll it into a tight little ball. And you can also breathe on it. Put it close to your mouth huff and puff on it a little bit, the moisture in your breath helps it to roll into a nice little eyeball. So then we're going to take and pin that in with one needle and poke with the other needle. And don't be afraid to really vigorously poke on this. We want that to really sink into that eye socket there. It shouldn't stick up above, it should be level with the surface there. So there's one eye. Let's go ahead and do the other eye. Breathe on it. It's always a helpful trick. And then we're going to pin that in and poke some more. Poke around the outside edge to get that started and in shape. Okay. And you can always kind of tweak it with your fingers to make it more even and whatnot. Smush them a little bit. And if something didn't quite end up the way you wanted to, you can always pull it out with your fingers and reposition. That's the nice thing. It's very forgiving like that. All right, so we're going to take and put that black in there. And so for this, we're going to take and just divide into 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 1 for the smile, 2 for the eyes. And roll it into a tight little ball. And that's going to go right in the middle there. Okay. So now we actually have a black inside that taupe. It's a little hard to see, but that's a nice little detail. And we'll do the other one. Pin it in with one needle, poke it with the other. There we go. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add a little nose. So take some of that taupe that we had and roll it into a tight little ball. Super tight. The tighter you can get it, the better. And we're going to pin that on right to the bump of the nose and go around and poke that down. Okay. There we go. There we have a little nose. Then we have a smile. So we're going to come underneath here and we're just going to tap in a little smile. Just take your needle and kind of put in a little smile. I feel like my nose needs to be poked in a little bit more. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so now we've created a little smile. And then we're going to take that last bit of black and twist it in your fingers into a nice tight line. You can even lick your fingers a little and twist it like that. And then we're going to pin it into one corner of the smile and just poke our way from one end down to the other. And just keep on poking till it eases its way in there. And the more you poke, the more it's going to kind of sink into that. Cuter it's going to look. Look at that. How fun is that? Okay, so we have a couple more colors to add. And of course some more shaping and sculpting to go, but he's coming together. So we're going to take that black, and he gets a little bit of black on his chest. So we're going to take and fold it up a few times. Just fold it a few times like that. And then we're going to put that onto the chest and put a needle in there. So this extra little bit just kind of falls into his belly. And we're going to poke that in. And it helps to give him a nice little chest. Okay. So then we can kind of keep on tweaking it, keep on adding little bits of fiber where we think we need some more shaping. You know, we want him to have nice little blocky legs over here, and nice little rounded. You can kind of get his shape curved a little bit by curving him and then poking down in here so he curves around a little bit. So I'm curling him and then poking down a little bit right in here. And then when you're all ready, you can take and bend his arms and legs around the pipe cleaner and the twig here. That's why his legs are extra long, so that we can bend him around. And he can hang however he likes. I personally kind of like him waving at you. And there you have it. That's our cute little August critter of the month. So I hope you enjoyed making it with me, and check out all the other critters of the month along with all of our other fun kits on our website. And have fun. Happy felting. Bye.